Hey guys, let's talk today about traveling to Europe. Europe is a wonderful place for a visit and I personally love it, and there's so many things to do always and so many tips you can get, but I just want to talk about general ones because there's too many of them. And the number one, my first but very obvious one, is to be ready to walk. Prepare to have a good pair of shoes, really comfortable ones, or something that goes with the season in Europe. Check weather ahead because that can become a big problem for you. Europe can get very cold in winter times, and there are so many historical places where you can't get directly to them, you will have to walk. Number two, be prepared to have some kind of a plan when you go there. Get ready, make a list, make sure you know exactly what you want to see, because once you're there you will not have time to research everything and you will kind of get overwhelmed. So if you have a list in mind, if you have a few places, just put them in a list, and that way you will make sure you can visit all of those places once you're there and make some kind of a schedule. Number three is to buy in front of time some tourist cards that are a big lifesaver to you if you really like to visit places. If you like to visit museums, some concerts, those cards can save you a lot of money. They can also give you discount on public transportation and a lot of other bonuses, extra things, even up to some discounts at restaurants. So those are very beneficial, but it also depends on how long you stay, because in every country it's different. In some countries you have to buy those cards that last for like 30 days, so obviously it's not good for you if you only plan a short trip. Just double check it in advance. This one will be related to few previous ones, because just make sure that you have everything you need: clothing, shoes. It depends what you plan to visit. If you plan to visit few countries, you should understand they can have very different weather, and if you plan to go to, let's say, Austria, to mountains, you need warm clothing, warm shoes, and in some other countries like Spain, let's say, you don't need those. So just make sure you plan through all those small details so you don't freeze up later on. This one is not just about the Europe, but generally all around the world. If you really like some specific tourist attractions, you have to check in advance and book places. Like there is this one famous restaurant in Paris, you should book it months in advance, and some other places like that too. And there's actually many places like that. So depending where exactly you want to be, what exactly you want to see, you might need a reservation ahead of time. Make sure you have few different pairs of shoes and make sure one of them is really comfortable, because if for some reason something happened with one, you can always wear the other one. Also have some bandages for your feet. It can really save you if you walk a lot around and your feet got destroyed or something else happened, which happens very often if you travel to Europe and you walk a lot of kilometers around those historical places, because there's no access through the car. You can drive with a car or you can go with a public transport ride in front of some places. Don't risk to eat at some strange places that you're not sure about the quality of food, because it can cost you later on a lot more, as you will lose time, as you will feel bad after. I did this mistake before. A lot of people did this mistake before, but just don't do this to have a nice and fun trip. Try to escape those weird Indian places. I don't say those places are bad, but again, check reviews, and there's many sketchy places you just want to avoid. Don't forget to prepare some medications with you. Just remember about previous trips, how you felt, what is the main problem usually for you, and take those medications, because once you're there it will be complicated to get something from a pharmacy, especially if you already feel bad. So make sure you always have something with you for a stomach, for digestion, especially because the food is different when you're traveling, your body is not used to that, and then it's easy to get cold or a lot of other things you don't want to get. So just prepare in advance. Ask yourself few simple questions. What do you like? What are your hobbies? What is something that might be really interesting to you? Because depending on the season there might be different events, concerts. You might really want to see some of those, so if you check through those events in advance, you can plan your trip better. If let's say you're a lot into winter sport, into this nice Christmassy feeling with all the lights, then just better book a flight ticket at winter time and visit the Christmas market, take some clean wine and walk around, enjoy the lights, enjoy the winter atmosphere. But if it's not for you, then better visit in like end of spring, summertime. But be prepared that in summertime Europe is usually popping. There's so many tourists, it can be not that pleasurable. I personally like to visit it in different seasons or beginning, end of summer. Obviously once you're there you want to make cool pictures, right? But this might be almost impossible because of how many people can be around you. Like in Italy, when I was in Rome, to take a picture next to Trevi Fountain was was very sketchy because all these people around, it was almost impossible. But there are always people in the internet who will give you better tips and tricks about specific place that you want to visit and how you can plan to take good pictures at a tourist attraction places. So just double check it. It will not hurt. I will add some of mine pictures. I was actually able to manage to get some pictures next to Trevi Fountain in Rome, and that was really magical because you would never think how many people there were around me while I was taking those. You want to exchange the money because in Europe they use euros. It's not the best idea usually to do it in an airport, so just make sure maybe you change few dollars in the airport so you can get to places, and then later on you can find a better exchange rate in a city. Oh yeah, and about Italy, just be patient with the public transportation or simply use your feet. For me, we had enough at one point and we just walked everywhere by feet or take a scooter, because public transportation there is so unreliable. You will not believe it. Like, we sat on this one bus and it was supposed to take us to this stop, and he just drives some other direction. The driver doesn't say nothing at all, don't want to stop, and then we're just like end up in the middle of somewhere we don't know, somewhere we didn't plan to be. Also, for these matters, make sure As soon as you land, buy a SIM card so you have your Google Maps with you, or download some maps in front of time so you don't get lost, so you don't have to spend all day to figure it out how to get to your hotel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos. Let me know what you think about this topic, what topics are more interesting to you. Subscribe to my Instagram as well, and see you soon. Have a nice trip. Let me know if this is interesting for you, what topics are more interesting. I traveled a lot. I visited more than 20 countries, and a lot of them in Europe, most of them actually. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. See you soon.